Hey guys, it's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe, and I want to talk about the 1987 comedy horror Blood Diner. I posted my pickups on Facebook, and my buddies primarily were like, "We love Blood Diner. It's so good. It's a fun movie." My buddy Patrick didn't like it, but everyone else thought it was great, and I didn't really remember it. I had seen it once or twice years ago. I couldn't remember much. I know it was silly, so I picked it up recently at a decent price. It's put out by Vestron, who is owned by Lionsgate. They do a lot of like older movies. They just did Dream a Little Dream, which I love. Candyman 2 and 3, or just 3, I don't remember. So they put out a lot of like 80s, 90s, like kind of fun B movies. And Blood Diner was better than I remember. I enjoyed it way more this time, and it reminds me kind of a couple other films that I want to talk about. So the plot of the story is there's these two brothers that have an uncle, and the uncle has this thick accent, and he is a serial killer, and it's all very tongue in cheek and goofy, and he manipulates the brothers to grow older and sort of has this control over them in a sense to resurrect him. I don't want to tell anyone how he dies or what happens, but resurrect him and follow his lead to resurrect this Egyptian evil goddess named Sheetar. So the whole film revolves around these two brothers owning a diner, the Blood Diner, and the Tutman Diner, which I guess is like Tutankhamun type of thing, and kill all the people in the diner, have this blood buffet, and resurrect this evil goddess Sheetar. And it's a vegetarian diner, so like a vegan health option type diner, and they're serving people meat, and they're killing them, and they're trying to find virgins, and they're cutting off body parts to rebuild Sheetar and then have her come back to life and take over. So that's the point of the story, but it's all very goofy. There's a decent amount of gore, so there's arms getting cut off and heads getting cut off, but it's done in a very funny way. There are some pretty interesting looking like blood splatters where like someone's head will get cut off and blood will spray all over the wall, and very silly and fun. There's a decent amount of nudity with a naked aerobics class at one point, and then when they're putting the goddess Sheetar back together, she's topless. There's a couple, sex scenes in the film where there's these teens or young adults trying to make out and do things, and then they get murdered by the two brothers. So there's some of that, but again, it's all very, very goofy, tongue in cheek. Um, if you were to ask me, it's definitely more comedy than horror, and it's cheesy but fun and more fun than I recall. I'm a big diner guy. We're out on Long Island, and there's tons of diners here, so I like diners and restaurants and stuff, and so I kind of wanted to give it a whirl. The movie reminds me of blood-sucking pharaohs in Pittsburgh, Hollywood chainsaw hookers, and to an extent, Terror Vision. The goddess Sheetar definitely reminds me of something out of Terror Vision. Decent special effects, fun gore, but it has that comedy thing going on like those other films. Definitely reminds me of those other films in terms of tone. Um, the cops that are after them are a little annoying. There's this guy who has, I think, um, I'm not sure if he has an accent, but the black woman he's with definitely has an accent. A lot of weird accents in the film, and she almost sounds like she has marbles in her mouth. When she speaks, she's not enunciating well enough, so she's a little hard to understand throughout the film. But otherwise, I thought the movie was fine. It was fun. It had some good special effects. And if you like those movies I named, you will like Blood Diner. The song at the end of the film during this club sequence reminds me of Rammstein, and then it switches over into something very goofy. But initially, it sounded like it could be old Rammstein, which was very funny to me. And I enjoyed it overall. There's a couple Hitler references. I don't know why. So one of the brothers is an amateur pro wrestler, excuse me, an amateur wrestler, I should say, and he's wrestling someone who looks like Hitler. And then later on, there's this band on stage who sounds like Rammstein, and there's two guys in the band dressed up like Hitler. So I don't know what I mean, I get the comedy aspect of it. They're trying to like poke fun, but it was weird that there's these numerous Hitler references throughout the film. Back in the 80s and 90s, Hitler was fun to take jabs at, and this was one of them. Little Nicky as well. So I would recommend Blood Diner if you liked blood-sucking pharaohs in Pittsburgh, Hollywood chainsaw hookers, or even Terror Vision. It's a fun comedy horror with some good gore, decent sleaze, never takes itself seriously, and it's pretty fun. So There's my 2 cents on Blood Diner. Let me know, guys, if you've seen it. It seems to have a lot of fans. Thank you for watching. It's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe. Be good.